Number 27 in 101 Films Black Label range is The Brain, a horror movie, science fiction horror movie from 1988 that I had never seen before. It's quite exciting sometimes when you discover something you hadn't seen before. And The Brain is one of those movies that just is. It's not perfect in any way, shape or form, but my goodness, it is a hell of a lot of fun. Now, the basic story here is all about a Dr. Blake who has his own kind of self-help talk show that is about to be expanded nationwide. He also happens to be, I don't know, a kind of strange alien possibly, who has this gigantic brain with which he uses, not his brain, not his actual brain, but a gigantic one in a laboratory that might be an alien brain, I don't know, that he uses to telepathically link with viewers, to almost hypnotise them, to become fanatical on this one.
How many times have you asked your husband to watch this show and he has refused? Don't let him ignore you by ignoring me.
And we are introduced to our main character of Jim, a wayward genius who, a little bit bored at school, plays a lot of pranks, and really just, you know, is getting by in life. But because he's a little bit disruptive, because he is a little bit antagonistic to some of the teachers, he is placed in a program with Dr. Blake.
I want you to clear your mind, Jim. And I want you to answer my questions to the best of your ability. Okay?
And it starts to affect Jim as he sees weird things, as he feels the power of the brain try to attack him. And it's basically from then on, Dr. Blake versus Jim, and this is early in the movie, chase sequences, moments where they try to capture each other, moments of a giant brain chasing people down and eating them. It is as glorious as I described. I think it's fantastic, it's wonderful, it's out there, and it's practical, which makes all the difference for me and becomes something that I genuinely enjoyed. Although the characters aren't fully fledged or expanded enough to really create them wonderful, inventive characters, they're fine. They're kind of ciphers. You know who they are and you know what they're kind of up to. The brain, where do they come from? Why is it there? Does it matter? Not particularly. A little bit of backstory that we don't need. The same with Dr. Blake. We just know he's a bad guy, he's a little bit weird, and Jim will maybe knock his block off later on in the movie. Hopefully.
If he wants you, he must watch.
But it's the action, it's the special effects, it's just the fun nature. It's propulsive. It doesn't really give you a second to stop and think, which is good. It just keeps giving you more and more fun sequences to check out. Some moments to go, how the hell is that happening? Why is that going that direction? It doesn't matter because it's just fun. I like Jim. I loved the special effects in this one. There's an opening sequence with a girl in her room as she starts to envisage tentacles bursting through the wall and trying to destroy her. It's really well done. It looks terrific. It has a real neat aspect to the story as well when you get the grander picture of things, and it's just, yeah, ridiculously fun. I did not expect for a moment the brain was going to be about a ginormous brain eating people. But that's the movie I got, and at no point did I think, wow, this is just too much for me. I revelled in the fun that we had here. I loved the practicality of it. I even loved the silly message at the heart of it. TV will rot your brain and your children's. So deal with it now. Stop them from becoming monsters by limiting their TV time. Didn't really do me any worse. No, wait. It probably did. Anyway, The Brain is a fantastic 80s horror movie. It's one of those ones that I'd never heard of before, but was such a joy to sit down and just check out. Crazy characters, fun moments, a little bit tropey in places, but to be honest, gigantic brain, eating people, if that doesn't do it for you, I don't know what will. I loved this film. One of the better entries into the Black Label range, a range that I already love anyway. Let's have a look at the extras and see what this one has to offer. So here we are in the disc for The Brain. Let's go to the extras. First up, we've got Sound of the Mind, Paul Zaza on The Brain at 11 minutes 14. It's a kind of funny extra because he really doesn't like the movie, or it comes across that he doesn't like the movie. Wrote the score in 3 days, but kind of appreciates the following that it has now. Then we get a commentary with director Ed Hunt. We get a commentary with the composer Paul Zaza, which should be interesting. And we get a commentary with actor Tom Bresnahan. Then we have Canada on the Mind, an interview with Cynthia Preston, which is 11 minutes 17 seconds, talking about how she got the role, how she started off in modelling, how she ran about for 2 months making the movie Screaming, running from a giant brain. Next up, From Monster to Kid to Monster Man, an interview with George Buza, which is 12 minutes 33. I really like this one, just talking about how he gets started in acting, talking about the production, how he still rates a lot of the actors as being pretty terrific throughout the making of the film. Next we have Brain Art, an interview with Michael Borthwick, which is 12 minutes 52 seconds, and he is the first assistant art director, talking about his passion for art, how he kind of fell into the project and how he kind of grew to admire it. Food for Thought, a love letter to the brain, is 11 minutes 21. It is basically a super fan, filmmaker and archivist who just loved the brain right from the immediate moment it came out. His passion for it, showing some of his own personal photographs and how he got more information about the film. I mean, it's pretty interesting. Now we get a stills gallery, and that is it for the wonderful The Brain. So there we have it, number 27 in the Black Label range, The Brain. I would say yes, definitely pick it up if you love your low budget horror movies. If you're a fan of 80s horror movies, do yourself a favour and pick up The Brain. I think you will love it. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff if you're so interested. As always, hit that like button because it really helps these videos. In the description box is a link to the Patreon or the membership program where you can really help this channel, or a link to some cool merch. Oh, I think it's cool anyway. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Man v Film.